Aspects. Sarah knew an omelet was only an aspect of the egg's truth, and was determined not to give up till God hacked mucus into her tip cup. Children understood this. Academic poets did not. Sarah called snow heaven's frozen dandruff, and cursed the thumb-tip holes in her mittens. Both Annie and heaven's frozen dandruff were typical of all the pretty things in Sarah's life, destined to fade, melt, evaporate. Sarah liked it that way. Permanence made her nervous. Annie wasn't back yet with the $1.05 from the 21 consumed PBRs which constituted their New Year's Eve feast. You better not have stopped off at Stinky Dick's again. Jesus, Chica. Sarah thumbed through her paperback Breakfast of Champions, weathered, torn from too much love, the margins of many pages scribbled with insights both brilliant and banal. Sarah had long lifted the book's author, Kurt Vonnegut, onto a pedestal labeled The Impossible Father. The real Kurt Vonnegut was a complex mentally ill man who obsessively sought salvation from an angel called the Muse. At least a book is a friend who doesn't freak when you leave, Sarah thought. Annie returned, chomping gum loudly, waving a $5 bill. "How's Stinky Dick?" Sarah said. "We wrote a poem," Annie said. "That what the kids call it these days?" Sarah said. Sarah had recently found salvation via the angel Luvox, an ingested pharmaceutical being designed to slay her darkest thoughts in utero. Angel Luvox was good at such slaying. He was also good at blowtorching her genius and making her sleepy. Sarah, pissed at salvation's price, considered ditching the angel Luvox. Mere existence with evaporated gift isn't living, she thought. I don't laugh anymore. I don't sing. Annie continued to be saved by the angel Stinky Dick, a testosterone-fueled being whose apt nickname arose from a profound laziness in washing his own genitals. Annie accepted Angel Stinky Dick, stench and all. Angel Stinky Dick made Annie's face glow, made Annie's feet float, the consequence of which was to blowtorch all non-Stinky Dick thoughts from Annie's mind. Annie beamed at Sarah. "I'm in love." Temporary, Sarah thought. Just then, the sun blowtorched the January overcast, the blast of which, softened by atmosphere, arrived at Annie's pimpled, tear-streamed face as a golden dance of light. Annie spun around to the rhythm of her own childlike humming, hands caressing the air. Sarah, weeping at the transfiguration, stepped forward and embraced Annie. "Me too."